Hello everyone, hope you're all having a wonderful day, and today guys I'm going to be going over what I think are the top 6 best spirits inside of Black Myth Wukong. Now there are up to 50 spirits to choose from inside of this game, so just like a kid trying to decide what flavor of ice cream they want, it can be hard deciding what spirits you want to use to absolutely crush the game that is Black Myth Wukong. Now let's be real, the knot of voidness or whatever that legendary material or resource that you need to actually upgrade your spirits doesn't grow on friggin' trees. No, it does not grow on trees at all. It's a kind of a scarce resource. So it does actually take a while to fully max out a lot of your spirits. And unfortunately, spirits is one of the few things in the game that you cannot respec. So once you hit accept on those upgrades, they are locked in, baby. So hopefully I can help you guys from just throwing away all of your valuable resources on spirits that are about as useful as a wet paper bag. Instead, upgrade the spirits that matter. So don't get frustrated, get even with the top 6 best spirits inside of Black Myth Wukong. Just quickly, full disclaimer, this is not a best to worst or a worst to best. This top 6 is not categorized in any way, shape or form. I'm mainly doing these in the order I recorded them. That's it. All right, now that I got that out of the way, let's not muck around. Let's jump straight into it. I'm sure you guys don't want to be here any longer than you need to be. You'd rather be playing Wukong or whatever else the kids play these days. Now, first spirit I want to go over is none other than non-able. Arguably one of my favorite spirits to use in the game. We're starting off friggin' strong here, fellas. Now, the reason why I like the non-able is not the fact that it comes with a low chi cost. The low chi cost is definitely a massive selling point. But the best thing about non-able is you're able to weave this spirit in between your light attack combo chain. So if you do 1 light attack and then you use the spirit, he's going to do a move. And if you do 3 light attack combos and then use the spirit, he's going to do a different move, etc, etc. This works for light attack combo chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the best way I like to use this spirit is try and use this spirit on your 4th light attack combo. So when you're going through your light attack and you get to the 4th press of your light attack button, you will start doing a twirly like animation before you do the big overhead slam. That is when you want to use this spirit, because he does kind of like a, not like a secret move, but it's a move that's different to all the other moves. He kind of does like a big like clap or a force push or something that does a bit of stagger, and then he goes flying in the air and you leap onto the enemy. The distance that this spirit will travel is fantastic. You're going to catch a lot of bosses off guard if they're trying to like backpedal away or try and do an animation away from you or a move away from you. This spirit will catch them off guard. They're not getting away from the non-able. And that only happens when you use it in the 4th light attack combo chain. So I feel personally for me, it takes a bit of practicing, but once you get this down, that is the best way to use the spirit, because then once you use the spirit move on your 4th light attack combo chain, you can then still follow up with the overhead slam, the light attack finisher, and you're just going to be chipping damage off the boss, especially doing like a combo like this. And it does pretty decent stagger as well, so you're going to leave room and a window open so you can get more damage and more combos onto the boss. Hopefully just absolutely cream him. The non-able also comes with one of the best passives as well. Moderately increasing attack, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. It massively reduces your mana as well. It's a bit of a negative, but mana doesn't really become that important, at least in my opinion, when you start getting towards the end of the game. Early game is rough. When you get through like chapter 3, chapter 4, things really start opening up. And I feel like just reducing your mana a little bit at that point isn't really the end of the world. And as you can see, if I try and switch to the Mad Tiger, you can see that we're getting 3% crit, 6% crit damage, and we are losing 100 mana. So 100 mana, you know, if you're someone that really likes spells, or you feel like you need the spells to get through the game, maybe non-able might not be the spirit for you. But either way, this spirit absolutely goes hard. It's hard not to love the non-able with having different moves that you can weave in with your light attack, being a low chi cost, and coming with an absolute busted overall passive for your character. And that is why non-able has made it onto this list, because it is just an absolute powerhouse spirit, and I highly recommend you try this one out if you have not. All right, moving on to the next spirit on this list, and it's a fan favorite, one that everybody loves, the Wandering Wight. Now we get this spirit at the very start of the game, literally most people's first real boss encounter that they have in Wukong. But what makes this particular spirit so good? Well, for one, it's an absolute powerhouse. The damage that you can get off with Big Head Boy is no joke. Absolutely no joke. If you can get his damage to crit, absolutely absurd. You get massive knockback. Like, this knocks the enemies, the bosses, absolutely flying. This is a great combo extender. It's great to maybe do a finisher, which will probably stagger the enemy. Then you can drop the head. Maybe you charge up and then do another big slam down, which will then stagger the boss or the enemy again. So you can just change so many staggers with this spirit. It's just so good. It's absolute powerhouse. I love the knockback and also the damage that goes with it. It does suck a little bit that the chi cost is high, but with the damage and the knockback, but this thing actually brings to the table. So sometimes you can't have your cake and eat it too, boys. The passive is also really, really nice as well, that you just significantly increase your defense while you have this spirit on. And it's not a small bit of defense either. You get 30 defense extra, which at the start of the game is massive. The fact you get this spirit right at the start of the game, getting 30 extra defense. The Wandering White, you might get it at the start of the game, but this bad boy will carry you all the way to the end of the game, and you're probably going to beat the game with the spirit. Absolutely no drama whatsoever. And that is why the Wandering White is on this list. It's just such a good overall spirit with the damage, the knockback, and also increasing your defense. What is not to love about the big bronze head boy? Like, come on. Moving on over to the third spirit on this list, we're going to be talking about none other than another one of my personal favorites, the Flint Vanguard. We're keeping the theme of big unga bunga boys that like to crush everything. The Flint Vanguard does come with a high chi cost, but that does not matter. There's plenty of ways you can get chi back with your gourd. Same goes with the Wandering White. It might be a high chi cost, but you can mitigate that a little bit. But something the Wandering White does not bring to the table, and that is fire. Flint Vanguard has loads of it, and he is not afraid to set things on fire. So if any enemy gets hit by more than 70% of this spirit's attack, they're going to be burnt. They're going to be absolutely cooking more than your fucking nan's chicken on a Sunday. It just absolutely decimates everything, and having that fire status effect on the target while you're also doing damage is just going to help you quick kill that boss or enemy even faster, because fire and poison do not fuck around in this game. It actually ticks for a decent amount. So the Flint Vanguard kind of just like 4 smashes into the ground, and he follows up with 1 big overhead smash which shoots off a beam of lava. When you fully upgrade this, you get the 3 puddles, which is very effective. I thought this could only hit the enemy once or twice. No, if they get knocked through all those puddles, they will get hit by all of the puddles, and you can do some insane damage with the Flint Vanguard. If the burn wasn't enough, this spirit absolutely lays on the damage. It chips away, doesn't even chip, it smashes away bosses' health bars, especially also applying that burning dot as well. Now, unfortunately, the passive isn't really that great. Moderately increases scorch damage and burn resistance. Burn resistance is nice to have for certain situations, but not like the whole game, obviously. Moderately increasing your scorch damage isn't really the worst passive. There's some transformations that use fire. There is a staff that does fire damage. So it's not the end of the world, but I mean, compared to some other passives, it's not really that great unless you've kind of built into it. But besides that, the Flint Vanguard, it brings some serious damage to the table. And also the burn status effect, which if they can be burnt, this really does start taking the enemy's health away quite a bit. And also, I forgot to mention this, but the spirit does have some ridiculous stagger to go along with all this damage and the burning status effect as well. Just like the Wandering White, it is very nice to have all this additional stagger to offer more combo chains, to give yourself more windows to get spells out. But do not sleep on this spirit, it seriously goes hard. Now, moving on over to the only mythical spirit in the whole entire game. There's not even a legendary, we only got epic, and they decided to add 1 mythical in, and that spirit is the Boar Lang Lang. I really hope I said that correctly, because I came in super confident. Now, this spirit is so much fun to use. I think this has to be the coolest spirit in the whole entire game. Fun factor, level 100. And the main reason why it is so fun is you basically just have a frog that's going to spew out elemental damage, and it rotates between the elements. What's not to love? What is actually not to love about a frog that rotates through the elements every time you use it? So we got poison, we got fire, you got lightning, and you've also got ice. The frog rotates through all these different elements, all these different status effect types, which is really cool. So you can build a status effect build with this frog. You can take like a lightning, a fire staff, and maybe take another different elemental transformation, and this frog spirit, you're gonna have a nice, decent flow of different stats effects and different elements you can use on the enemy. And then you would also have pretty much every enemy's weakness somewhere in your toolkit, which is just fantastic for just going through the game and absolutely destroying everything. Not really too much to unpack with this spirit, except that it does rotate through the element. It does have a chi cost that is high, but I think that's warranted given that this spirit is just so fucking badass. The equipped effect, the overall passive, again, is nothing really to write home about. It just moderately reduces your stamina for jump and jump attacks. So for that reason, the passive isn't really that great. It just kind of fits the theme that you've got a frog spirit on, obviously. But the coolest thing, the best part about this spirit is that it does rotate through the elements. And that is really, really cool. I absolutely love this idea. And it is just such a fun spirit and a really strong spirit to use inside of Black Myth. All right, guys, we're over halfway through this list. Hopefully I'm not boring you to death. Hopefully you're all not snoozing in your chair just listening to me talk non-stop. We've only got 2 more left. We're nearly there. So the next spirit I want to talk about is the Gore-Eye Daoist. Now, the Gore-Eye Daoist needs absolutely no introduction. I'm pretty sure all of you guys have seen clips of people getting the maximum amount of damage, getting one shot on the bosses using this exact spirit. And the main reason for that is it just increases your attack. You put a pillar down, and you put your staff down, it emits like a red circle, a red glow. And while you're in that red glow, you're going to be getting a very respectable damage or attack increase, which applies to everything. If you got your duplicates in that red light, they're getting buffed as well. You're standing in the red light, you're getting buffed as well. The passive as well is not too bad. It does increase your overall maximum mana, which when you do get this at chapter 2, this is pretty decent because you don't have a lot of mana at the early game. You really have nothing in the early game. It is pretty rough. The Gore-Eye Daoist does give you a little bit mana and also further increases your damage, which is, I think, really good early game. It's really good through the whole entirety of the game, but I'm just saying when you do pick this spirit up, it is very beneficial. But unfortunately, there are some negatives with this spirit. The first kind of negatives I'm going into. This spirit does take a while to come out, and you do get knocked out of it very easily. So if you are trying to set up for a boss fight, that can be kind of frustrating. Even though it looks like you're about to put your staff down, you just get knocked out of it. It can be really annoying. But the main negative is definitely the fact that this motherfucker takes so long to come out. And if you just even get a tickle or a gust of wind comes your way, you will get knocked out of the spirit, and you just have to wait for it to recharge again. It can be kind of shitty. But besides all that, it's just seriously fun to get the Gore-Eye Daoist out and just absolutely lay on as much damage as you possibly can with all your spells and duplicates onto the boss. So finally, we've made it. We've gotten to the last spirit. I do have 2 honorable mentions after this, so, you know, don't go fucking off straight away. I've got some more information to lay on you. And the last spirit I want to talk about is the Mad Tiger. He's real mad. He's extra mad tiger, this one. And it really shows when you use the spirit, because this thing can lay on some serious friggin' damage as well. Just like the Flint Vanguard, just like the Wandering White, the Mad Tiger is up there with just laying on some absolutely ridiculous damage in seconds. So the way that the Mad Tiger spirit works is you're just going to let out a loud roar. You kind of do like 2 roars. Like there's one that hits the enemy first and then one that comes after, very quick succession after. That's the one that does like the big damage, the big unga bunga roar. And it's good that this is a roar, so it's kind of like a cone. So if there's any enemies that are in front of you, they all get hit by this roar. Very similar to Father of Stone. It's just a really solid spirit that lays on a lot of damage. And from my experience with this spirit, every time I used it, even if I got hit, I'd never got knocked out of it. There might have been maybe 1 or 2 instances, but I pretty much used this spirit through my first playthrough, and I absolutely loved it. I'm pretty sure I did not get knocked out of the spirit when I was using it, so it's an absolute tanky spirit that you can just use through enemies' attacks, which is fantastic. The passive for this spirit is actually really good. You considerably increase your attack, but massively reduces maximum health. Now, I know some people might not like this one because you are cutting your health by 150, which is pretty substantial, but you are increasing your overall attack by 15, and 15 is a lot. That is quite a lot. And you do get this pretty early game. If you do the secret area in chapter 2, this is how you do get this spirit. And getting this spirit at chapter 2, I felt was massive. definitely carried me through a lot of the remaining content inside of Black Myth Wukong. And I didn't personally notice the health decrease that much. There's probably definitely a few instances where I probably could have clutched out, and having extra health would have made all the difference, but it didn't affect me too much, so I don't think you guys will have too much of an issue if you do want to use the Mad Tiger for yourself. But once you see the damage that this thing puts out, and also how much it increases your overall damage, the Mad Tiger definitely, I think, deserves the last spot on this top 6 best spirit list for Black Myth Wukong. Like I said, this bad boy saddled me up and he carried me all the way to the finish line. He really did. Now moving on to 2 honorable mentions, ones that just didn't make it into this list, but they are actually really, really good spirits. First up is Turtle Treasure. Now the main reason I think Turtle Treasure is an absolute treasure, you see what I did there, is because of its passive effect. The one thing I will say though is this spirit sucks. This spirit sucks so much ass. It is not good. Its damage is terrible. It takes forever to actually do the spirit move. Like it's just not good. It's not good. But the passive is where this spirit actually shines. The fact that you're going to be considerably increasing your damage dealt by heavy attacks that cost 3 or 4 focus points, which is basically the bread and butter of the game. You want to build up focus points and unload heavies to deal big damage to the enemy, and also just fucking knock the lights out of them. So I thought this spirit was just really good. The fact that you are going to need to spend 3 or 4 focus points pretty much all the time to get the most amount of damage out of this game, and the Turtle Treasure is going to help further increase that. So I thought Turtle Treasure is actually pretty good. It just sucks that the spirit overall sucks so much sweaty ass. Like, it is so bad. I'm not sure it's the worst overall like spirit move, but it's got to be up there. I do not like Turtle Treasure. I'm sure there's going to be some people in the comments telling me to go fuck myself. Bro, nah, Turtle Treasure, he's the best. But for me personally, I did not like the spirit move at all. But that passive is really, really strong. Now, the next honorable mention is Father of Stones. This is really good because of the passive. Again, slightly increases critical hit chance and critical damage with absolutely no negative. And you get a 2% and a 5% increase. That's pretty good. And the chi cost for this spirit is moderate, which is pretty decent. You get 2 roars with this spirit, which do a considerable amount of damage. Being at moderate chi cost means you can just get the spirit back more often to keep using the spirit move, which is actually pretty decent with Father of Stone. And you're also going to be increasing your critical hit chance and your critical strike damage, which we all love critting for big numbers. So that is obviously fantastic. And that is it. We did it. That is basically it for the video. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys to death, and if you didn't fall asleep, maybe hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. Now hopefully this video does help you guys out. And also, do you agree with this top 6 video, or do you think I missed some stuff? Maybe I huffed too much gasoline before I came in and did the video. I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section below if I missed anything, or if you do actually agree with this top 6 best spirit video. And that is basically it. Appreciate all love and support as always, guys. And until next time, stay safe. Peace out.